Yo, what's up, guys? Mental Monday, brought to you by All In Journal. I think it's a great product. Use code Askren15 for a little price discount. So I had a good question today from Greg on Twitter, actually. And remember, if you guys send me questions and they're good, I'll use them for Mental Monday material. It's actually kind of much easier to answer questions than it is to create my own subject matter. Obviously, sometimes when we have a lot of tournaments and stuff, it creates itself. But then other times it can be maybe a little bit difficult to come up with ideas and thoughts to talk about. And so when you guys message me questions, sometimes that can make my life easier. So, Greg, I appreciate your question. And I've had this other thought for a while, and I haven't quite figured out how to put it into a Mental Monday type idea, so I'm going to do that today. Okay, so Greg's question was, how early is too early to start teaching the mental aspects of wrestling? And I'd say, obviously, some of the younger kids, they just can't comprehend some of the bigger ideas, right? But they could definitely comprehend some of the smaller ideas. And honestly, at home, you guys should be doing this with your own children. So I just made a quick little list that I can run through. All these things, and I can tell you with my own children, sometimes, and my wife's like, they don't get it yet. I'm like, don't worry. I'm just going to keep beating them over the head with it till they get it. Composure, work ethic, discipline, resilience, determination, accountability. So these are all obviously things. So, hey, clean your room. It's no one else's responsibility. It's your room. It's your responsibility. You are accountable for that, right? And one of the things I love most about wrestling is there's a high level of accountability. It's you and the other person, and that's it. It's totally on you. Not like a team environment where you can sometimes be reliant on other people. So, accountability, I think that's one that's easy to teach at home. I think about like even in our little ninjas classes, if two kids are playing around, I say, hey, stop messing around. Bob might say, hey, Joe was talking to me. And I'll say, I don't care. You're responsible for yourself. If I see Joe playing around, I'll yell at him too, right? But right now I see you, so you'll be accountable for yourself. Don't blame it on other people, right? Handle your business. So that's one, right? So these simple ones, I think, they're easy to teach at a young age. And I mean, listen, I'm going to change this around a little bit for my high school group. A lot of times I change it around from when I talk to you guys. I keep the same subject matter, but the thing I'm going to pose to them is, if you're elite at these things, if you have great composure, great work ethic, great discipline, great resilience, great determination, great accountability, you're going to be freaking great at life. You really are. You're going to be great at life. So if you could do these things well, the earlier you figure them out, the better off. I mean, one of the things, I talked about accountability. I'll go up to composure, which is on the top of the list. I see so many situations in life where a problem could be easily solved if one or both of the parties could have just kept their composure, right? But because tensions rise and then someone gets mad, then they lose their composure, and then they say something out of character because they lost their composure. Now the problem is only exacerbated, right? Whereas if they could have kept their composure and kept their mind right, and they could have said, well, here's the problem. Here's the way I see it. Here's the way you see it. And here's how I think we can solve this problem. It would be solved very easily, right? But because one party loses their composure, the whole thing blows up. And right now it takes 7 hours to fix instead of 7 seconds to fix. So composure, obviously that's one. And then, this is one of the ones where I say I'm kind of anti-early competition because the parents actually can't keep their composure a lot of times. But they're also setting up a failing situation. So listen, dude, I have kids now. They're 11, 8, and 6. They're getting older, so they're getting better at composure. Ozzy still sucks sometimes. But you guys all know, if you have young kids, you know this. It could be anything. It could be like, Andy's playing with my ball. Right? Or, Ozzy wasn't even playing with the damn ball. It was like in the yard, and then Andy went and picked it up, and I was like, I want the ball. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, keep your composure. You weren't playing with the ball, or, share, right? Something like this, right? But they lose their composure. So, and then these kids can't keep their composure or anything. They lose their composure because you make them eat a piece of broccoli or something. And then we expect them to put them out on a mat with 20 screaming adults around it and something on the line. And then they're going to keep their composure. Yeah, right. Like, that's a joke. That's not going to happen. And then so many times I see, well, because the kid can't keep their composure, then the adult loses his shit, right? Because he is so mad that the kid can't keep his composure that he loses his composure. And then again, the whole thing blows up. So yeah, we can teach them. And that's one of those things I talk about being an emotional rudder as a coach. Like, if I can't keep my composure as a 40-year-old man, how can I expect a 10 or 12-year-old to do it? I mean, it's very relevant. And a lot of you guys, I'm speaking to you men, because the men are worse than the women on this one. You men can't keep your composure, and it's pathetic. And then you're like, yeah, but this guy did this, or the ref made it back. So what? So what? And then, just kind of going to the other point I was going to make is, it's funny, I was thinking about, parents that drive their kids too hard. And the negatives of that, obviously. But the one thing I've been coming to the conclusion of is, as I've watched this now for quite a while, I've been in this youth thing for 13 years, is the parents who live the grind but push their kids too hard, honestly, lots of times get good results, versus the parents who aren't living it right? So that the dad or the mom or whomever is, they're lazy, they don't work hard, they're undisciplined, but yet then they're asking the kid to do those things. Then the kid's like, well, I'm watching you. What I see is different than what you say. And so, like, versus the parent who's a very strong, driven, still works out, still stays in shape, does right at home, does well at their job, then the kid is seeing that very disciplined, strong work ethic be modeled by the adult. And it becomes really hard for the kid to say, well, I don't want to do this because you're not doing that, because they are. It's actually, I'm outside right now. My dad, he gave me this golden boot. And I'm almost going to get emotional here. He gave me this golden boot, and he wanted me and one to my brother. And it was like, because he modeled the work ethic for us, right? So it was like, when you see your parent who's a blue-collar worker doing the work, it's like, you can't bitch about what you're doing is easy compared to what they're doing, when they're doing it right, obviously, right? And so it's like, for a parent to be able to teach the kid that work ethic, it's way easier when they're modeling it versus when they're just saying it. That's something I would do for my kids a lot, is, strength. I hate strength conditioning workouts. But when I was still competing, I would sometimes take my kids with me when I'm doing a strength conditioning workout, because I know I'm going to be miserable and I'm going to struggle. And sometimes I would do it when the AWA kids were coming in, so they could see it's not all rainbows and sunshine. It's like, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be miserable. It's going to suck sometimes. And you have to be disciplined enough to push through, right? To have the discipline and the work ethic to push through whatever it is that you're struggling with. So when the kid can see that behavior modeled versus just talked about, it's way different. Way different. All right, one more. Like I said, I didn't talk about resilience or determination. So resilience, because we're all going to get knocked down. And, I had a few shitty moments in my career. But honestly, I think the fact that the kids saw me back in the gym on Monday was a huge factor in me being able to relate to them, right? Because prior to me losing that one fight, I hadn't lost a fight in a decade, right? And so the kids essentially a lot of the kids had never seen me lose. I was undefeated. I hadn't lost a wrestling match for a really long time. And so a lot of the kids had never seen me lose. And so when they see me deal with that really well, they realize that there's no excuses, that they can deal with it really, really well also. So, all right, we went through a whole bunch of, I'm gonna run inside, mowers out here. Okay, we ran through a whole bunch of characteristics that I think that any kid can learn from any age. And yeah, they're not going to fully grasp it when they're 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. But now my oldest daughter is 11, and I could tell you for certain, these are simple characteristics that she fully grasps. Is she great at them yet? And the answer is probably not. She's good. She's good at most of them. She's good at most of them, but she's going to get better. So I think from any age, composure, work ethic, discipline, resilience, determination, and accountability can all be taught to kids. We try to teach them at the academy, even to our ninjas in training. And I think as a parent, they're going to work much better if they're modeled. If they're modeled for them, not just spoke about. So that's all I got. Peace.